Alright, working on a 2000 Jeep Cherokee Sport here. It's got the 4.0 in it. He called and said it had a P0456, a small EVAP leak. That was weird. Heard some weird noise. Anyway, he said he had a small EVAP leak, wanted me to check it out. And then I couldn't verify that. He said he changed the battery, did something with the battery, he lost the code. But anyway, I got the smoke machine hooked up to it. On these Jeeps, I know some of you aren't going to have smoke machines, I understand that, but I'm just showing you for educational purposes. These Jeeps here have a tap-in for your EVAP system. They have a little green cap here. Usually when you see this green cap, that's an EVAP tap-in, so you can go in and tap into it. Just take the core out. There is a core in here, just like a tire almost. And you can tap right into it. And on these Jeeps, your filtration system, that's kind of like where it releases the fumes, is up here on the fender well. So take that off and plug it. And anyway, we got the smoke machine hooked up to it. I found the leak on it. It's in the back. A lot of times, a lot of people want to change these leak detection pumps up here. That's a real common one on these. Sometimes those won't leak on the outside externally. You can't really see it, but it could be bleeding off, and that's real common on these Jeeps. Per solenoid. So it's nothing up here. There's also another real common spot on these Jeeps, and it's mainly because of well, besides it's 21 years old, just the rust and stuff that gets to it, and that's in the back by the gas tank. Other than your gas cap itself, he already changed that himself. Said it didn't fix the problem. So. I'm going to go ahead and put air into my smoke machine. Try to anyway. And look for the smoke. And like I said, I've already found it in the back. We'll go back there and check it out. Luckily, there's a canister, your vapor canisters back there. And a lot of times there's a lot of rust back there. Luckily, I don't think we're going to take the canister off, because I think all the bolts will break off if we did try to do that. I think it's a simple issue back there. So I'm just going to take you back there and show you, and then you can kind of look and see on your Jeep some of the common things. But like I said, up here, the leak detection pump is a real common one on these Chryslers. And a lot of times, like I said, you can smoke it and you won't see the smoke. You do have to disconnect this hose here, though, and plug it off. Otherwise, you'll see all kinds of smoke right here. And all it is coming out of this vent here. So that can kind of trick you if you don't know to tap that off. So this is closed off, obviously. So I'm going to go back there real quick before the air compressor kicks on and makes a bunch of noise. Alright, so here we are in the Jeep. We're on the driver's side, right before the rear axle here, by the gas cap. You can see the smoke starting to come out. This is your charcoal canister, and it's bolted to your body here. You can see bolts are pretty rusty, the nuts, so hopefully we don't take this off. I think I found the problem already, or I know I did. You can see here this hose. You can see this hose right here. Well, I'm trying to show you this hose right here. It's actually leaking out of there. If I move it, you can see how it really builds up a lot of smoke. There's actually a little pinhole. This rubber is worn away, and it's basically bad. So that's our small leak. And this actually goes to a steel line that goes to the gas tank. And you can see how rusty this is. It's rusty all the way back to the back, which is another common thing on these lines here. They rust out, especially this one that I'm pointing to, where we have our issue. Sometimes you got to replace the whole line. It doesn't look like we're going to have to do that on this one. This one, he's getting ready to sell it, so he just wants me to fix whatever I need to fix. But doesn't look like the actual steel part is leaking yet. But it's probably not far away from doing that. It's actually pretty rusty all the way back to the tank. And then, you want to change your check your gas cap. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off real quick, and we'll take a look at it. But I know that's what the problem is. It's actually getting wet from the oil that I use for the smoke machine. And like I said, you barely touch it, and it just the smoke pours out. So this is our small leak right here. we'll fix that, and that should fix this problem for now. Eventually, this line's going to get to the point where it's going to be rusty enough to where it'll leak here too, but it's not to that point yet, evidently. So I'll replace that line real quick, and then we'll just take it and put it on the bench, and I'll show you, and then talk about a couple other places that might leak, and then we'll just end this video out. Alright, so I went ahead and pulled that hose off here, and you can see, if you just pull it back just a hair, there's a line, and the smoke was actually bellowing out of here, out of this little pinhole. This whole hose is real old and rotted, but I don't know if you can see. Hopefully you can see, the camera's picking it up, but there's a big hole right there, and that's what the problem was. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this and send it on its way. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that, send it on its way. And like I said, it's right there, right before this wheel here. You're also going to want to check and make sure there's no smoke coming out of your gas cap. Of course, I know a lot of home mechanics or home do-yourself guys aren't going to have a smoke machine. So this really isn't going to be an option for you, or a good option. If you don't have a smoke machine, visual check it real good. It's not going to fix, it probably won't pick up all the problems, but something like this is pretty obvious. Just by looking at it, I was drawn right to as soon as I got under there, and then sure enough, that's where the smoke's coming from. Other than visual checks, a lot of people change gas caps right away. The problem with that is everyone says, oh, if you got a 456 or 455, you got a bad gas cap. There's probably probably millions of gas caps changed every year, and then the code comes back a week later. So there's a lot of gas caps that get changed that don't need to be changed, and probably making the gas cap companies happy, but don't automatically assume it's your gas cap. Sure, if you want to spend the $10 and try it, it's cheaper to take it to a mechanic and have it smoke tested, of course, but a lot of times it's not the gas cap and you're just wasting money. So anyway, those are on these Jeeps here, in Mopar especially, the leak detection pump is a big one, and then that line that I showed you is another big one on these Jeeps. They get rusted out, and then the actual rubber hose, but the steel line will rust out enough to cause a leak, so you got to keep that in mind too with that. But that's about it on this. I'm just going to replace that hose and send it on its way. It should fix the P0456 on this, and it's just kind of run down these Jeeps on what to look for. So, and like I said, if you're doing home repairs, you can get a pretty cheap smoke machine on eBay. They're not exactly professional, but they're a nice redneck alternative to, some of these smoke machines are $11, $12, $1,300. You can get one on eBay for $60 or $80. It's kind of homemade. I've seen people actually make smoke machines, homemade ones. It's possible. But there is guys on eBay that sell some that are homemade or custom made. I wouldn't say they're homemade, but they're custom made, and they're quite a bit cheaper. They have a regulator to bring the air pressure down so you're not blowing things out with it. And you're not going to be able to really do your pressure check on it or something like that, like a professional machine, but it will help you find stuff like this, and it's pretty cheap investment if you're doing your own work quite a bit. So something to look into. I also think All Tool makes a smaller one with the actual pump and everything built in. It's electric, and I believe that one's around $200, which isn't really bad. I've actually thought about getting one of those for mobile, put in my car for mobile runs and stuff. The only problem with that is a lot of times if I'm doing a mobile run, I don't have access to electric, or which I would need, and then even air. If you have to take a regular smoke machine on a road mobile run, it's kind of hard to take a smoke machine on one of those just because you don't have air or electric. But for $200, that one's actually a pretty good alternative too. It's an All Tool, AUTOL. I don't have it, but I've seen it, and I've been thinking about getting it. So anyway, that's about it on this Jeep Cherokee. We'll put that line out and boot this thing out of here. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one, and as always, God bless.